Welcome back to Cask 529, everyone. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Shona.
And Shona's got me set up with a little blind here this evening. All right, Shona, so what are we doing today?
So we are doing another rye blind. So the last time we did one, I think it was like the end of August. We picked up a couple different ryes since then. And so in our last rye blind challenge, the Bulleit 12-year rye won.
It did.
So I'm bringing that one back to see if it can withstand the test.
See if it holds up.
Holds up. And we're testing it against the new Riff rye. Okay. And the Wilderness Trail rye.
Awesome.
So a little bit about that. The previous show we did the Bulleit, the 12-year rye. It did come in first place for both of us. We had it lined up against the Green River rye and the Knob Creek rye. Those ones, Bryan and I placed differently. They got second and third different for us. So since the Bulleit came in first, bringing that one back, and we're putting it up. So the Bulleit 95 rye, it is the 12-year one. It might be a little bit harder to get. It still is available in spots in Ohio. It's coming in at 92 proof, $54.99 here in Ohio. It is 95% rye and 5% malted barley. Then coming in with the new Riff, it's a Kentucky straight rye, bottled in bond, 95% rye and 5% malted rye. So it's a little bit different of a mash bill, $45.99. And then the Wilderness Trail is another bottled in bond, a small batch at 100 proof, 56% rye, 33% corn, and 11% malted barley, coming in at $47.99. So you'll notice these are all relatively in that same price range between $45.99 up to $54.99. They're all relatively close in proof points, the lowest being the Bulleit at 92 proof, the other two at 100 proof. And so I feel like it's a pretty fair comparison for us to do, see how it does.
So I'm anxious. I don't think we've had the Wilderness Trail, have we?
I have.
You have?
Yes.
I didn't think I had tasted that. And the new Riff,
it's been a long time.
I haven't had probably more than a sip of it, and it's been, like you said, a long time. So we know that we like the 12-year Bulleit. Yep. So I'm anxious to see what this is all about.
All right. Let's dig in.
And which one did you say was which?
I didn't.
Oh.
Wouldn't be a blind if I told you.
I thought I'd try.
Wouldn't be a blind. Nice nose. That has a lot of vanilla. Almost like a vanilla cream. A little bit of a hint of cherry on it. Not a whole lot of spice on the nose.
I feel like I'm getting a little bit of almost kind of like a mint feeling.
Are you? I'm not picking up the mint. Nice. Enters your palate. A lot of oak on the initial the front end of your palate, but it's finishing with that nice fruity note, spice, nice smooth spice notes all the way through. They don't really like pop at any certain point. They're just kind of just right there, cruising along.
Nice even pain. Nice even pain. My first sip today, guys, I promise.
Definitely a lot of char on the end with that, the oak nut. Wow, this is really our first one. All kind of bloopers in this round, guys.
First bite was a little. First sip was a little bitier than the second. The second sip, which is always the case, it just seems to mellow out a little bit on the second sip. Man, there's a little bit of sweetness to it, a little bit of char. Spice isn't real heavy in it.
It's not real heavy,
really
but
isn't.
it's there.
But the spice is what lingers right now. Is what I've got on my palate right now. Is, and it's not a heavy spice. It's just enough to say, hey, I was here.
I really like the oak note that is throughout that one. I love the little bit of a fruity note at the end. It's a nice, smooth, even pour.
I like it.
Now this one on the nose is very spice forward.
I think the thing I like most about these three bottles is the most expensive bottle's $54.99.
Right? I get another little fruity note coming out through the spice on this one.
Now I'm getting sweetness on that nose that I didn't get on the first one.
Yeah, definitely picking up a little bit of the oak presence on it, a little bit of spice. It's when you first nose it, the spice comes at you, but then it follows through with a nice sweet fruity note. Nice, ready?
Now that one was more spice forward than the first one was, I'd say. And then it kind of finished sweeter.
I agree. I don't know as if there's, I feel like number one may have had a few more notes to it. This one's just kind of spice
And sweet.
and sweet, maybe a tad little bit of oak in there. But the spice does, it just kind of hits you right on the front end of your palate and then kind of goes away. It's good. No complaints. Right now I'm thinking maybe number one might be a little bit better though.
So far, that may be we do this a lot. And maybe it's because we're still, we've not been doing this but a couple years. So maybe if somebody was wanting to learn about rye, that'd be a good one to start them with.
That one's just a little bit more.
Because it gives them that spice, but it doesn't linger, and then it finishes with that sweet note.
Yeah. I would say number two though is a little bit drier. Like it's more drying.
Oh, you think?
I mean, number one had like a nice oak presence all the way through, but I didn't feel like it dried out my palate. Like number two is kind of drying it out.
Yeah, I think I can maybe feel that. I'll pay more attention when we come back through. I don't want to drink the whole sample.
Sweet on the nose, a little bit of spice coming through, not a whole lot. A little bit of caramel notes. Definitely getting the sweetness though.
Sweet, definitely,
Nice.
for sure. That's like brown sugar forward. But as soon as that sugar started to fade away, the spice was right there. It was like the spice washed the sugar away.
That's a nice pour.
It is. Yep.
I think you got it with the brown sugar, but the spice definitely a little bit of a fruit note all the way through it. After the spice kind of settles down in the front, the fruit note comes in at last. Definitely some oak in there. It's a nice solid pour.
Yeah, I like that. That's really good. None of these three, I would say, is your stereotypical rye. I really don't. Like, if we didn't know these were rye, I don't know that I'd say, hey, that's rye.
Yeah, I don't know if I would either. That taste, I got those same notes, but I'm getting a little bit more of a chocolate presence as well, which is really nice. I like that. Number 3, I feel like coats your mouth more. I'm really liking that brown sugar note. I know that's usually your note, but that's a really nice note. That's
No, it's I
solid
really
all the way
like that in
through.
3, and it's hard for me to describe it, but it's almost like let me try to go this route with it. It's like you put the spice in your mouth and then you washed it with the brown sugar and it kind of washes down over it. And then when it's gone, the spice is still there.
So it's like a brown sugar fountain.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you know.
All great pours. I wouldn't shy away from any of these.
No,
So
definitely
let's see if we can line them up and see if we can.
I already got my order.
Well, I want to go back the other way.
I'm going back through them, but I know my order.
It changes for me though. I mean, because it may.
It has for me too, but
Because like number 1, that was our first taste of the day.
You're right. I still like 3. It's like you threw up Ellie's thumb at me. Now see, 2's changed. Now I'm confused.
Good. And I bet you one's going to change too. The nose on number 1, I love that fruitiness that comes through. To me, the nose on number 1 scores a lot of points. They all had nice noses. I'm not saying any of them nosed poorly, but the fruitiness on number 1 is really cool.
Before I forget, hit that like button, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to us, hit the subscribe button. Drop us a comment. This is difficult now.
I really like
They've really changed.
they have. I feel like I'm going to go 1, 3, 2. And the reason I'm doing that is I really like the oak presence on number 1 all the way through. It has that nice fruity note. The nose is great on it. It coats your mouth, your palate. It's really nice. Number 3 was almost there for me. I was really, when you were saying it was first, I was right there with you. However, going back to number 1 again, I feel like it's better than 3 just by a smidgen. Number 2 is good. It's not the same as 1 and 3 to me. How about you?
It's really confusing because I like them all. 1 was a lot more attractive to me coming back through than it was initially.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it had us all tongue-tied in first.
Yeah, I did. I'm not sure if it was that poor or what it was. We were a wreck. It's hard. This is one of the hardest lineups I've had, really.
Because they're all good, solid pours.
I'm going to go 3, 1, 2 is how I'm going to go through.
Okay. You all stressed out?
And I don't know why, because it's nothing personal against any of them, and I've never had this one. Forever ago since I had this one. I'd drink any of them.
Yep. So, your first place is
the
Wilderness Trail.
Nice.
Your second place is New Riff.
So now,
And your third place is Bulleit. So
which was the previous winner.
the previous winner came in last for both of us. So it got knocked off the pedestal.
Crazy.
Now,
Crazy.
that made the new Riff come in first for me, and then the Wilderness Trail. But I am telling you, they were really close. Extremely close.
Which
So,
means on the next rye show,
we have to have both of
both of
these.
those.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good lineup.
That was a good lineup, and it's really funny how, I mean, we know we like this bottle, and that's not going to change. It just didn't score as well
Yeah.
with the other bottles.
All they were all good. I
Yeah.
wouldn't turn away from any of them.
No, and you're not going to break the bank with any of them.
No, that's the best part.
So they're all good bottles if you can get your hands on any of them.
Yep.
I don't think this one I got when I went up to the lake.
Yeah, but I don't
correct?
think they're really that hard to get.
No, I
The
don't
12-year
think
might
they
be
are
the
either.
hardest.
The new Riff I know is not hard.
Yeah, so-
Actually, a 12-year locally, I see it quite often. So
But yeah.
it's definitely not allocated.
No.
It's just a matter of finding it.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that's all we have. So until next time, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and be safe.
Thanks, everyone.